New Delhi. Sujata Luchab for DT India.
And joining us from the Sher-e-Kashmir Conference Center in Srinagar is our colleague Jessica Taneja. Jessica, good morning to you. Give us a sense of what's happening around you as we speak. We are looking to the big event, the marquee event that the PM will headline at Srinagar.
That's right, Ramesh. It's raining out here, and almost the event is supposed to begin in about an hour, as you pointed out. But with the situation of the weather, which is waiting for things will be made clear in some time. But so far, the schedule is on time. The Prime Minister to arrive here at the Sher-e-Kashmir Convention Center, and when he will be with the participants, 6,000 of Jammu and Kashmir, and they will be participating and doing yoga with the Prime Minister in about an hour if the weather permits. The way it is right now, it certainly looks slightly turbulent, so to say.
Absolutely, it's a breezy morning. We can see, Jessica, if you had the opportunity to speak to some of the participants, how excited are they ahead of the marquee event? After all, Prime Minister will be leading Yoga Day celebrations once again.
That's correct. Last year it was in America, and this time we have chosen Srinagar, which is quite significant. And yesterday, you saw the Prime Minister interacted with the youth, handing out employment certificates, and certainly creating that enthusiasm, especially with the youth. Apologies for note, it's also raining quite heavily, and we will try and get you more details on that. I would interact with the people who come here to do yoga with the Prime Minister at this event, the 10th International Yoga Day celebration. The weather slightly is not permitting things to go according to plan.
Absolutely. Jessica, we can understand, we leave it at that, but we'll keep coming back to you for more updates. It's going to be a long and busy day ahead. Thank you for joining us for now, and let's get started with the analysis on the 10th International Yoga Day. Joining us in the studios are yoga guru Bijoy Lakshmi Hota, also Professor Rajkumar Yadav with the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in the Department of Physiology is joining us. Such a pleasure to have the two of you. A very good morning and happy Yoga Day to the both of you. Your thoughts for starters, ma'am, if we could begin with the theme of this year. We know the theme of this year is yoga for self and society. So what does yoga mean to you, and how would you reflect on the theme?
See, yoga as a system has a lot to offer. It is not just a physical system, but also it deals with your mental problems, it deals with your emotional problems, it deals with your karmic problems if you believe in karma. But the thing is that it is not just asanas and pranayams that can do that. You have to do some meditation, you have to do some mantra, etc. And it can really improve the society, because one thing that really comes to my mind is the violence. There is so much of violence in society now. It is not because of just any problem outside, but it is because of a unbalanced energy system. So we say that if there is too much of physical energy and less of mental energy, then there is violence and aggression. So you just balance it with yoga, and yoga is actually devised for that, to balance an energy system, so that when you balance it, then the problem is gone, the character changes.
Fair enough. So it's a holistic approach, Ramesh, isn't it?
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
Dr. Yadav, as a medical professional, as a medical practitioner, how would you approach the concept and philosophy of yoga in your professional sphere or domain?
Yeah. So, as you just said, the theme for this year International Day of Yoga is yoga for self and society. And the very important point here is, the definition of health. The definition of health says health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, not merely the absence of disease. So here the three important points are, it's a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. Physical, physical means our physical body, mental means our mental health, and important is the society, the social. And at All India Institute of Medical Sciences and many different hospitals and medical colleges, we always used to think how we can achieve this, because it includes the whole society, that is the health.
So when was the foundation of this laid, if you could also tell us that, of the interplay between medicine and yoga, and how has it built upon it, especially
Yes.
AIMS?
Yeah, that's a very good question. You know, the AIMS was established in 1956, and truly speaking, when I was going through the research which were done at the AIMS, what I observed was the first research publication in the field of yoga was in 1960s, and that was from and again that was by the directions from the parliament. At that time it was said that the yoga is our Indian legacy. So why don't we do the research, the scientific research with evidence based? And that's how I think it started. And the first publication what I can observe, I could observe, is that it was in 1960s about some yogis, and there we have tried to, or the researchers at that time, they tried to find out how the brain behaves, and that time basically EEG recording, you know, different electrodes are put on the scalp, and then recording of the brain activity during meditation in a yogi. That was done in 1960s and it was published there.
What was
And
found in it?
Yeah, that is a good question. What was found in those days, because the recording was very simple, and but still it was found that when we do the meditation, the brain, or the simply you can say overall, we relax, and that, you know, there are different types of waves like alpha waves, beta waves, theta waves, and so on. So by observing these waves, the change in the waves, it was observed that during the meditation the brain relaxes.
Now, Yoga Guru Bijoy Lakshmi Hosa, for the benefit of viewers joining us from India and around the world, talk to us a bit about your initiation into yoga. How and why did you initiate yourself into this ancient Indian practice?
Well, I had a lot of physical problems. I mean, I was very young, so I was not interested in the mental aspect at all. It was just I had a number of problems which no other channel could cure, like starting from backache to tetany, that is calcium deficiency, to anemia, to what not, all kinds of problems. Insomnia, I was on sleeping tablets for 4 years before I took up yoga. And it was it came to such a point that I thought I would not survive. That was that bad. So when somebody suggested that I go and do yoga, I went and stayed in the ashram.
Which year was this? When was this?
It was in 77, long ago. So the yoga was not popular at that time at all. But somebody, my mother, she forced me into the ashram. She said, otherwise you will die. So I went to the ashram, stayed there for 15 days, and you believe me, in 15 days all my problems were gone. And I had tried allopathy, homeopathy, Ayurveda, and everything. Nothing could really help me. And 15 days of yoga cured me, so that naturally pulled me to this thing. I wanted to know more about it. So I studied, I learnt it under my Guruji, and then slowly I came to this line full-fledged.
Absolutely, and just in sync with what you are saying, we'll understand the benefits which are therapeutic also of yoga. So yoga is recognized as a form of mind-body medicine that integrates an individual's physical, mental and spiritual components to improve aspects of health. But as Kriti Vadera reports, therapeutic yoga offers even more benefits. Take a look.
Therapeutic yoga is a personalized approach to yoga that focuses on the specific health needs of an individual. It combines traditional yoga practices such as asanas, the postures, pranayama, the breath control and meditation with modern medical and psychological knowledge.
If patient came to us for different type of disease, different type of pain, different type of anxiety, bipolar disease, right? So what we can do is we provide the therapeutic session which is come across the Ashtanga Yoga Sutra, and if we go for a yoga sessions, so our first motto is how to settle down to the patient and our people, and I'm so glad to see the benefiting of yoga practice. After the patients, once he came out the session, he feel relaxed mentally, physically, and emotionally also.
This form of yoga aims to improve overall well being, manage or alleviate specific health issues, and support recovery from illness or injury.
I'm suffering from a rarest disease called Schumann's disease, where your backbone gets tilted towards around 52 degree. And once I've joined yoga, it's been I think 3 months now. My body is more flexible. I am able to attain a proper posture. I was not able to sit for a long hours, but now I'm able to sit. So for me, it's been a blessing.
I had major severe jaundice and anxiety issues, and yoga has helped me a lot in my life. And after that, I can see that I can socialize with people more, and I feel more calm and composed, and it has made me more peaceful.
Today's life is very hectic, so work-life balance is very difficult. So for me, like doing yoga makes me stress-free and definitely my mind full of energy and positive thoughts.
Therapeutic yoga can be beneficial for a variety of conditions, including chronic pain, anxiety, depression, cardiovascular diseases, and muscular issues. It's typically guided by a trained yoga therapist who can assess the practitioner's needs and create a safe, effective practice plan.
Yoga is not just a practice, but it is a path towards healing and harmony. From ancient roots to modern applications, yoga still continues to be the beacon of hope and health for all. With camera person Shiv Suman, I'm Kriti Vadhera reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
Right, Munmu, let's go back to our guests, Yoga Guru Bijoy Lakshmi Hota and Professor Raj Kumar Yadav. Professor Yadav, if I can start with you again. You were discussing about how evidence has shown that yoga has a salutary effect on diseases. For instance, heart disease, we are told, glaucoma, diabetes. Talk to us a bit more about what you have found in your studies so far.
Yeah. As I just said, yoga is our Indian legacy, and it is you see its existence is since I think thousands of years. Here, what we have done at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, different diseases we try to find out how the yoga can influence the modern diseases, because today the science needs evidence. So whatever the evidence is, only those evidence-based medicine or evidence-based yoga, you can say, that is what we are trying to find out, the science and the evidence.
Can you explain to us with the help of a case study?
Yes. So one of those is you see, everybody is interested in the heart. Right now we have one clinical trial which is running right now, and that is basically in the patients with heart failure. Actually, what is heart failure? Heart failure doesn't mean that heart has stopped. It simply means the efficiency of heart has reduced. Means, heart is just like a pump. It pumps the blood which has to move across the body. If the efficiency of the heart has decreased, means suppose earlier it used to pump more blood, now it is pumping lesser blood with less efficiency. So that is the situation which is known as heart failure. In the patients with heart failure, nowadays what we are trying to find out, how the yoga may be useful. And this is our clinical trial, which is actually multi-centric, and it has 15 centers across the country, and including 4 or 5 aims, as well as in different parts of the country, like Northeast, there is Nigrims. In South, we have centers at Bangalore, the Mysore, and so on. So basically, this is RCT, randomized control trial. We are enrolling the patients with heart failure, and of course, the standard of care with yoga in one of the groups, what we are trying to find out how it can change. Of course, the study is still on, so we can discuss the results later on. That is one of our projects. Other than this, of course, we have done the studies in the type 2 diabetes, in the high blood pressure or the hypertension, and very important, some important diseases with eyes. We have tried to observe how the yoga can influence. One of the commonest diseases of the eyes is glaucoma. In the glaucoma, usually the pressure in the eyes increases. So what we have tried to observe, that can yoga influence, and our results show yes, it can significantly and positively modify the disease. But a word of caution, whatever the diseases you have, or if you are consulting your physician or doctor, whoever, please always consult the doctor, whoever is treating you.
We'll discuss about the importance of the common yoga
Yes,
protocol
yes,
as well, so that
yes.
there is a sense of uniformity in
Yes.
how yoga asanas are done for various diseases particularly. But before that, Vijayalakshmi ji, you spoke about your therapeutic transformation in a sense that happened over 27 years, because you said you began in 1977. If you could cite some examples of some sort of therapeutic transformation that you've seen over the years of people who've come in front of you with various problems, and how their lives have transformed as a result of that. It's not just about getting cured in a sense or treating a particular disease. It's also, like you said, a more holistic approach towards yoga. So if you could cite some examples and tell us how people's lives are being transformed because of yoga.
Okay. Let's say the worst disease, one of the worst diseases, that is cancer. Normally people who come to me with cancer, they do their chemotherapy and then they come. But there is one gentleman who is in Australia. He consulted me because he said the oncologist called him after 15 days. So he consulted me. He had earlier learned from me for his heart problem, and so this time he consulted me. So I told him what all to do, and 15 days later when he went for the test, there was no cancer. No cancer, that it had vanished completely.
At
That
what
is-
stage was that cancer?
it was just diagnosed, so
So
I
was it
do
the
not know
early
what
stage
I
of
don't think
cancer?
it was a very
Okay.
advanced stage.
Okay.
That was, I think, even initial stage. That is one. Then he got back because I had asked some food restrictions, some mantras. He dropped that. He said so easy to cure it. Then he went back to his old routine, and again he got it. Second time also he phoned me, and again I told him, and second time also it vanished. It is when he got it, again he went back to his whiskey and other things. Then again he got it. The third time he didn't consult me, because I think he felt embarrassed or I don't know what. So third time he went for a chemo and he didn't survive. So this is one example, that because the person had come to me without no other treatment he was taking, that is why I am mentioning. Otherwise, there is another lady who had cancer in I think 80s or 90s, I don't remember. She is still there, she has no problem. So it really helps.
Vijayalakshmi,
Cancer, that is
yeah.
not cancer, that cancer is one example I took. There are hypertension. Hypertension is always normalized within 3 days. I have not seen anybody who has gone beyond a week. It is, of course, it is essential hypertension. I am not talking about the complicated
Right.
ones. It is essential hypertension. Normally within a week it becomes normal. So yoga is very powerful when you choose the right practices.
Indeed.
Is-
In your opening intervention, Yoga Guru Hota, you spoke about how yoga is more than asanas or
Yes.
pranayam. You also referred to a karmic connection, as it were. Could you elaborate on this? What did you mean by karmic connection?
Yes, it is actually cause and effect. It is everything that you think. Everything is energy. So your thoughts also is energy. Your disease also is energy. Everything just, it is the difference of vibration, isn't it? So when you are thinking all thoughts, that anything that impressive gives an impression on you, anything like you see something, you say it's a beautiful thing. That is an impression you have, and that thought remains in our mind. We do not realize, but every thought remains in the mind, and the sum total of that is called karma. So if they are negative, you have negative karmas, and the effect will be negative. And if you are positive, then it will be positive. Now what yoga does, the yoga gurus, I mean naturally they were so wise, they knew everything about human thoughts, the earlier those who had devised yoga. So they knew about this aspect also, and that is why they had done some yogas, different yogas. One is karma yoga, one is bhakti yoga, one is mantra yoga. So these yogas are actually, they purge the negative karma.
Very interesting. We'll come back to that in just a bit, Munmun. But in the meantime, let's pull up some more news coming our way, viewers' way. Now, yoga has a salutary impact on mental health as well. From reducing stress and anxiety to enhancing emotional well-being and mindfulness, yoga offers a holistic approach to mental wellness. Rahul Upadhyay dives into the science behind yoga's benefits and gets you inspiring stories of inner transformation.
Yoga is derived from the Sanskrit word yuj, which means to unite. Yoga has a profound journey towards unity of mind, body, and spirit. In this edition, let's explore how yoga enhances mental health.
The fast-paced life resulting in many lifestyle-related ailments. Issues relating to mental health are also on the rise. Tension, anxiety, and depression are being reported at an alarming pace in almost all strata of the society. Popping pills seems to be the go-to solution with the generation next. But yoga provides an alternative solution to these problems with little effort and some attention.
Yoga does not mean as a only asana. It is a Ashtanga yoga. So all steps like yama, niyama, asana, pranayam, and towards the samadhi. So in day-to-day practice, if you someone follows certain discipline in the lifestyle, in the diet, and the positive thought process, and follows and observes the yogasana, I think that is the way of leading healthy and happy life.
Yoga's combination of physical postures, known as asanas, controlled breathing, and mindfulness techniques effectively promote relaxation and mental calmness. The benefits that occur make yoga a valuable tool to manage the psychological challenges of day-to-day life.
Physical, mental, and spiritual, 3 parts of yoga. So we can strong these by asanas, like these are the physical posture. By pranayams, these are called breathing exercises, and by meditation.
People around the world has witnessed the benefits of yoga in their life. Carrie Herendorf of US, who is a yoga therapist, was suffering with many challenges like anxiety, depression, but after practicing yoga in her daily life, she found it very helpful.
If everyone in the world did yoga, the world would be a better place. There'd be more harmony, more health, more happiness, more integration, right? Life happens in the body, and the body doesn't lie.
Research suggests that including yoga in one's daily routine can significantly reduce cortisol levels, a hormone associated with stress.
19th century Indian philosopher Swami Vivekananda once said, "Through practice comes yoga, through yoga comes knowledge, through knowledge comes love, and through love comes bliss." With this vision in mind, let us pledge to incorporate yoga into our daily life. With camera person Vishwabandhu, this is Rahul Upadhyay reporting from New Delhi for DD India.
So yoga then opens the gateway to bliss. Well, with International Day of Yoga being celebrated by millions across the globe, thousands have gathered at the New York's iconic Times Square to exercise. Organizers say that the numbers of US nationals practicing yoga continue to soar as more people realize both the physical and spiritual benefits. Mitch McCann reports from New York City.
It's hardly the most peaceful place to practice, but surrounded by the bright lights and shining signs of Times Square, thousands of New Yorkers are rehearsing their downward dogs, upward-facing dogs, and warrior poses, and they say it is possible to find calm among the chaos.
Honestly, you kind of just like zone out. Like there's people walking around and like you feel like you're in a little bit of a fish tank, like with them taking pictures, but I don't know, I didn't find it hard to relax.
Relaxation is just one of the many benefits of practicing yoga, according to Douglas Stewart. It was his idea to bring yoga to Times Square more than 2 decades ago for what he describes as a challenge for the mind.
This is a great experiment to see if it's possible in all of this chaos to find or to cultivate peace. It's a puzzle.
It's a puzzle made all that more difficult by the soaring heat, which is now regularly exceeding 30 degrees Celsius each day in New York.
Yoga has become increasingly popular among millions of people. For some, it's an escape from everyday life, although doing yoga here in Times Square is a little more distracting than usual.
It's widely regarded that yoga first arrived in the United States way back in the late 1800s, but those we spoke to say it's still growing now, with more Americans open to giving it a go.
Yogis say as you're as old as your spine is flexible. So, you know, here's to old age in yoga.
I think it's good for my body, especially as I get older. It's not, impact or anything. It's not high impact, and also good for my mind and meditation.
This event will see thousands practice yoga at what's often referred to as the crossroads of the world. And judging by the turnout today, Times Square will see yogis for many years to come. Mitch McCann in New York for DD India.
All right, let's take our viewers now to Colombo and Sri Lanka, Munmun, where our colleague Ahmed Muin Farooqi is joining us. Ahmed, good morning to you. Give us a sense of how Colombo is looking forward to Yoga Day.
Ramesh, very good morning to you and a very happy International Day of Yoga, the 10th International Day of Yoga to you all back at the studio. I'm now today connecting from Galle. This is on the southern tip of southern coast of Sri Lanka. And from here at the iconic Galle Fort, we are connecting live. You can see the arrangements are already in place. The yoga, the entire session would be commencing at around 6:30 a.m. We are expecting Governor of the Eastern Province to come here and be a part of it. The entire team will be performing yoga, and thereafter we'll get to see more things that how people would be feeling with regard to how it's changing their lives and how it's impacting their mental health as well as physical health. So till that time, I think we'll still be waiting for more people to join. Gradually, you can see people are coming in and they are already in their places. And probably in a few more minutes' time, we'll get to see more people joining in. And that entire portion would be completely occupied, is what it is. Ramesh.
Dr. Farooqi, it's nice to see the build-up behind you in Galle. You said you are. We've seen that this particular yoga day for 10 years has also been, in a sense, a diplomatic achievement and a vehicle of India's soft power. If you could tell us the kind of work that is done by diplomatic missions, including in Sri Lanka, for instance, on taking yoga to the wider community there.
No, absolutely, you're right. You see, yoga has been something which talks about bringing body and mind together. Here, it's not just million of body and mind, it's also of cultures of people who are spread across the entire globe. And a big role in bringing these together has been done by our diplomatic missions. Sri Lanka included, most of the diplomatic missions of India in various countries. They have taken all efforts, they've gone all out to popularize the themes of yoga, and they have tried their level best in making yoga as popular as possible in their respective areas. To begin with, Sri Lanka already was exposed to yoga, and they have had a very healthy connect between India with regard to the cultural contact. And yoga as well as Ayurveda had been already a part of their culture. The only thing was it had to be further propelled and a space, which happened because of an international day of yoga, which brought people together across the world. And Sri Lankan people readily came onto the bandwagon, and they are readily accepting it. And that's how it's been here in Sri Lanka. But part of this also, we are seeing that the diplomatic missions have been doing a fantastic job in using yoga as a diplomatic tool, as well as taking yoga as very healthy option for people to improve their physical, mental, and spiritual lives.
And Ahmed, before we let you go, have you perfected any asanas yet? Any favorites that you would like to perform on a daily basis?
So there are several. I mean, one of the most favorite ones of mine is standing up or vrikshasana, wherein you simply reach out on one of your feet, which goes onto your thigh, and reach, and then you chant. So some of the aspects which I personally like, it gives a sense of how you can connect with each part of your body and how you can maintain that balance, while at the same time you try to improve how your body can behave with how without seeing anything, without feeling anything, you get to have a balance coming into your body.
Dr. Farooqui, that's spontaneity for you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll keep coming back to you through the day. Let's hope that the whole world today once again immerses itself in the International Day of Yoga, just like all of us, including you are. Well, we'll take this forward now, from the medical perspective also. Dr. Yadav, we were talking about the importance of a common yoga protocol. Basically, you need to do yoga the right way. So what would you like to say on that? It's important that people pick up the right asanas to treat the diseases that they have, or generally to maintain good health and well-being.
Yeah, that's a very good question actually. Because yoga is our Indian legacy, so we have so many different schools of yoga. So to make it uniform, Ministry of Ayush as well as I think the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga and many more, they have developed a common yoga protocol. And the aim was to do the yoga in uniformity at different, like today, International Day of Yoga, we are celebrating across the globe. And if we want to make that everybody should do something in uniformity. So this is one of the good options which they have provided. Otherwise, in our country there are so many schools of yoga, there are so many gurus of yoga. Ultimately, everyone wants to achieve the best of the health and best of the wellness. But of course, if you have to do, there should be some uniformity, and for that I think this common yoga protocol is one of the best options.
When we talk about health and wellness, Professor Yadav and Yoga Guru Hota, one can't but also talk about aging. Now, is it from your experience, Professor Yadav, and then to you, Yoga Guru Hota, is it proven that yoga prevents or slows aging?
Yeah. Yes. You see, aging basically, as we can understand, aging is basically of two types. One is the calendar aging, means with each year, once we celebrate our birthday, with every birthday we are 1 year older. So that is one way to see the aging. But what we see as a medical person, aging is basically what we want to know is the basically biological aging. How your cells are aging. For example, if a person is of 50 years of age as per calendar aging, but apparently the person may be looking like a 40 years old. Similarly, another person may be looking like of 60 years of age. That is basically the biological aging. Means how your body reacts to the stress, how your body reacts to the today's digital world full of stress and this ambience and all that. So for that, we have tried to again try to do some research, and we try to find out, can the yoga influence the aging? And of course, we try to find out.
So what did you find?
So what we try to find out at the cellular level. There are two very good markers for the aging. One is telomere and the other is telomerase. Telomere basically, we have the chromosomes, and telomere basically protects the ends of the chromosomes. So that is very important to maintain the aging. And for the enzyme which is required is usually telomerase. So this, what we observed, that by this yoga based interventions, this telomere and the telomerase can be positively modified. This is what our observation is.
What's been your experience been like, Yoga Guru Hota?
You see, there is a saying, as you think it, so you become it. So normally when you do yoga, you feel so positive, you feel so young and energetic that it reflects on your body. And of course, yoga does slow down the metabolism. They say that meditation especially, I believe the telomeres which splits shortens very fast. With meditation, when you do meditation regularly, that slows down. So it is definitely, it is very, very anti-aging.
It's also important, would you agree, Ms. Hota, that yoga also needs to be accessible to people. Now, the Ayush Ministry has come up with an app which is called the Namaste Yoga app. Also, how important is it for people to go to institutions with yoga certifications, or can they make it accessible anywhere? Because there are people who are teaching yoga through social media platforms, through Zoom, maybe through other platforms as well. So how does one really choose or select a particular place from where they should learn yoga? Should they go and check certifications? How should a common person ensure that he or she is learning the right way?
Actually, one problem with yoga is if you do not have any problems, no ailments, your back is strong, everything, then you can do any asanas, no problem with that, or your blood pressure is normal. But if you have a problem, then certain asanas, if you do, it will aggravate. Like if you have a back problem and you do forward bending asanas, back is definitely going to get worse. So similarly, if you have high blood pressure and you do Bhastrika pranayam, your blood pressure is going to go high. So if you do not have any problem, you can follow a general routine, but if you have a problem, then specialized yoga is necessary.
But what probably Munmun meant, and correct me if I'm wrong, Munmun, but how does, for instance, if I speak about myself, how do I pick my yoga guru? Is there a certification whereby I can find out, okay, this person is suited for me or not? Like for instance, in Dr. Yadav's case, we know that they have certifications. Everybody can't be a doctor. There are only so many people, accomplished doctors who are professionally qualified. In the case of yoga gurus, how does them distinguish one from the other?
That's a very tricky question, because you really can't, your body will tell you. If you go try something for a few days, yoga's effect is so quick that within a day you will know whether it is suiting you or not. So if listen to your body, and it will tell you. It is not good for you.
If I may add.
Sure, please.
So actually, you see, because yoga is our Indian legacy. So in my opinion, every Indian is yogi. And that's why there are so many schools of yoga and there are so many yogis, and everyone is good. But yes, of course, there should be some certification and some criteria, and that's why nowadays this Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, as well as I think Ministry of Ayush, they have started some certification program as well as some grading, that this person is of grade 1 yoga expert, this person is of grade 2, something like that. And I think this is a good initiative.
There could be greater awareness on this.
Yoga Guru Hota, do stay on, we'll come back to you momentarily. In the meantime, Munmu, let's pull up some more news for our viewers. Now, this year's Yoga Day theme, as you've been aware, is Yoga for Self and Society. It underscores the holistic benefits of yoga, not just for an individual, but society as a whole. And my colleague Tripti Tripathi highlights India's initiatives to make yoga popular globally.
Over the last decade, Modi government has championed yoga on both national and international stages. The recognition of June 21st as International Yoga Day by the United Nations in 2014 was a significant achievement for India. Yoga has become a symbol of India's ancient wisdom and spiritual heritage, fostering goodwill across borders. In 2023, Guinness World Record was created for most nationalities in a yoga session at the Yoga Day event led by PM Narendra Modi in New York. Another record was created in Surat with 1.53 lakh participants celebrating International Yoga Day. Domestically, the creation of the Ministry of Ayush in 2014 marked a significant step in mainstreaming yoga. This ministry has launched initiatives like Namaste Yoga app, making yoga resources accessible to all. The new Education Policy 2020 also integrates yoga into the school curriculum. Recognized as a sports discipline, yoga is now taught in many universities.
Government of India is also propagating yoga through generation of evidences, yoga effect of yoga on health. For example, in AIMS Delhi there is a Center for Integrative Medicine Research which is supported by Ministry of Ayush. So that center is doing a lot of research on yoga. Nimans is doing a lot of research on yoga. There are global institutions, NIH, USA is doing a lot of research on yoga. So basically, large-scale evidence generation is also another aspect where we bring yoga into the lives of the people, and that is happening.
Programs like Har Angan Yoga promote yoga at the grassroots level and in workplaces. Initiatives such as Yoga Bharat Mala, Yoga Sagar Mala, and Yoga My Pride photography contest further elevates yoga's presence. Ministry of Ayush in collaboration with MyGov has also launched Yoga 2024 quiz based on past International Day of Yoga celebrations. Each participant of the quiz will be rewarded with an e-certificate. Another initiative includes Prime Minister's Award for Yoga, that honors significant contributions to the promotion and development of yoga. For International Day of Yoga 2024, the Ministry of Ayush, along with the Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga, is leading the 100 Days, 100 Cities and the 100 Organizations campaign. This initiative involves mass yoga demonstrations and sessions.
From fostering physical well-being to enhancing India's cultural diplomacy, yoga continues to unite and empower millions across the globe. Prasar Bharati for DD India.
So let's see how the world is celebrating yoga. The world celebrating the 10th Annual International Yoga Day. At the United Nations in New York, the Indian mission has organized a huge yoga session on the North Lawns. The theme for this year's session is Yoga for Self and Society, as we know. DD India's Jody Jacobs has more from New York.
In 2014, the United Nations declared the 21st of June as the International Day of Yoga, recognizing that yoga provides a holistic approach to one's health and well-being. International Day of Yoga was proposed by India and endorsed by 175 member states. The proposal was first introduced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi during an address to the General Assembly. The 21st of June is particularly significant as it's the longest day of the year and the summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. Last year, on these northern lawns here at the United Nations headquarters in New York, Prime Minister Modi joined hundreds of UN staff and diplomats in a yoga session. Since its inception, International Yoga Day has grown significantly. Globally, governments, yoga institutes and individuals plan large-scale yoga classes and cultural gatherings, and the day has developed into a worldwide platform for spreading awareness of yoga and of all its advantages for leading a balanced and healthy life. This year marks the 10th International Day of Yoga, and once again these lawns will be decked with yoga mats as UN officials and diplomats will again participate in a yoga session. The event is organized by the Permanent Mission of India to the United Nations, with the theme this year being Yoga for Self and Society. Jody Jacobs at the United Nations headquarters in New York, reporting for DD India.
So yoga clearly has international appeal, and like Jody was saying, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was there last year on this very day at the North Lawns of the UN headquarters, where there are so many people, including celebrities, who did yoga with him. Well, Ms. Vijay Lakshmi, tell us a little about what you make of the international appeal of yoga. Have people from different nationalities really come to you to ask you for tips or guidance on yoga?
Yes, actually, initially when I started teaching in Delhi when I was, in 80s, those days only foreigners used to come to me, because Indians were never enamored by yoga. Unless it was absolutely necessary, they wouldn't really go for yoga. Whereas I found the foreigners, from all kinds of, from Czechoslovakia, from England, from Finland, people have come to me, and they were so very disciplined about it and so very appreciative about it, that it really feels very, the satisfaction you get by teaching them. But now, of course, Indians are also now, they have joined, a lot of them are joining. But those days, I remember one gentleman, Swedish diplomat from Chanakyapuri, he used to come to my place after his office, and then because I told him that walking is very good, he would walk back to his house in Vasant Vihar. So, they were so, they really appreciate Indian wisdom, Indian listening very much, and it is a pleasure to have them as students. They are very disciplined. Now, of course, I am not complaining about Indians. Now, Indians also have got.
When somebody walks up to you and asks you to, get enroll into a yoga session, what do you tell them? Do you understand the physiology first, or can anybody just walk in and start performing yoga?
No. I have to write down everything. I have a form where I write down everything, what their food habits are, how is their sleep, what are their problems, what medication they are taking. Everything have to be taken into consideration, because even diet is very important. People are having all kinds of, like if you are having acidic food all the time and you have got some pain, it is definitely going to aggravate.
What do you mean by acidic food for the uninitiated?
Sour food, white flour, sugar, these are all acidic food. They make our body acidic, And in 1931, the German scientist Dr. Otto Warburg, he got a Nobel Prize for proving that cancer cells can live only in an acidic medium. They cannot live in an alkaline medium, they die. So, if you make a body acidic, then you are exposing yourself to cancer, you are exposing yourself to all kinds of infections and arthritis, all the pain. Pain gets aggravated if you take anything khatta. That you can see that an arthritic person, if take lemon juice, within minutes the pain will get worse.
So you advise them to change their food habits as well,
yes,
to increase
that
the
is
alkaline levels of the body?
That is part of yoga treatment, because unless somebody, I mean with these problems like cancer and arthritis, any pain, they have to modify their food. Otherwise, yoga's effect will not, yoga cannot have any effect.
So yoga needs to be complemented with the right ways of living.
Yes, yes.
Is that what
of course, if there is a problem, it's like asthma. Asthma is a mucus producing disease. If you take cold water and curd and all the mucus producing food, then the problem will not go. You know, because Ayurveda, we in science, they are only concerned with the vitamins and minerals of food, but our system Ayurveda, they say this is mucus producing, this is cough, this is acid producing, this is gas producing. They knew the properties, the real properties of food, and that is why there is Ayurveda, there is a lot of rules and regulations. Winter may you should not have this, summer may you should not have that, all that kind of thing. So we are just imbibing that system.
So
also
in Ayurveda, how many categories can you put a person to? Like, there are three categories.
It is not the person wise. We don't in yoga. We don't put them as person wise. We just see the disease. What disease is there? You treat the disease, and if the disease goes, then you can go back to your normal food. But even then, I advise everybody to stay away from acidic food, because that is the worst culprit, that worst condition.
So would you recommend people to take alkaline food? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, always.
In general?
Because you know the chemicals and all the things that are going into our system. We take chemicals from water, from air, from food, all kinds of pesticides, insecticides, everything they are going into the system, and the heavy metals are going and they are creating all diseases. Alzheimer is created when there is
so what constitutes alkaline food?
So
examples,
yes. So all these things make the body acidic. So alkaline food means mostly fruit and some fruit, vegetables, some nuts. Worst acidic food are the fried food and all the preservative and everything that are put into the food, and white sugar and white flour, they are the worst acidic. And anything that is too sour, like you fry the spices, you make it acidic. You fry vegetables, it becomes acidic, whereas normally vegetables are not acidic. And even in vegetables, some vegetables are very, very alkaline, some are not. So we try to put more alkaline vegetables than the less one, like petha. Petha, you know, it is the most, petha, what is it called, white pumpkin. It is the most alkaline vegetable. So petha everybody should take. Then some green juice, like this you are getting now in the market, the durba juice, and you are getting wheatgrass juice. So some green juice you should take, that is highly alkaline. So even if you are taking some acidic food, take more of alkaline food to neutralize the thing.
So it's important to have a holistic approach towards oneself when one is taking up yoga, is what you're telling us. It's not just important to do the yoga asanas the right way, but also to complement it with the right food habits, etc. So yoga offers a multitude of benefits for children as well, including improved physical fitness, emotional regulation, concentration and self-confidence. It also provides opportunities for social interaction, stress reduction and enhanced body awareness. Kriti Vadhera reports.
The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with Ministry of Ayush and the Morarji Desai National Institute for Yoga, conducts a daily 45-minute TV program on PME Vidya channels to raise awareness of yoga among children and adolescents. This program features a live broadcast in which the instructor demonstrates yoga postures.
To keep children and teachers in schooling system healthy and happy. So NCERT has initiated this yoga performance, and we are happy that today we are celebrating 741 episode in the institute, and we have yoga instructors and demonstrator who help us to enable children to learn about various yoga postures and how to keep them healthy.
Schools in New Delhi have organized a week-long campaign to promote yoga, inviting students, parents, grandparents, and staff members to participate in yoga sessions as part of the International Yoga Day celebrations.
Teachers, students, families, we bring in everybody. It's basically school and the community together celebrating International Yoga Day.
Yoga helps calm the mind, and especially after tedious studies, a calm mind is always better for mind, and it helps keep your life in balance. So a good balance between studies and relaxation.
Teachers, staff, parents, students, everyone gets to connect in a way that we don't get to do usually. And yoga, the health benefits, and I think meditation in general clears your head up for everything ahead of the day.
I'm extremely passionate about yoga and I love doing it. It's great for my health and I've seen so many benefits since I've started to do yoga. After doing these yoga sessions, I feel like my mind is refreshed.
Yoga is doing more than just keeping kids active. It's helping them find balance and build resilience in their everyday lives. From improved concentration to better stress management, the benefits are clear. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
Right, you're watching a special broadcast here on DD India. We are counting down to the marquee event in Srinagar that will be headlined by India's Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, in just a few minutes from now. Let me go back to our guest, Munmun, Professor Yadav and Yoga Guru Hota. Professor Yadav, coming to you now. Yoga Guru Hota spoke about how she prefers people to maintain a balance between the acidic or alkaline body constitution. Is that true for modern physiology and modern medicine as well?
Yes, yeah, of course. What ma'am has just said, actually our body is, a healthy body has the pH of alkaline, slightly alkaline. And so any food which is alkaline, of course, that is very good for the healthy body. And in general, any natural food, means fruits, vegetables, any natural food is usually alkaline, except a few like lemon. So if you take any natural food, good, in a natural condition without destroying by cooking and all those, that is alkaline. Any food which we process, whether we cook or processed at a commercial level, then it becomes acidic. So this is a simple definition. Be natural as much as possible.
So if I eat a raw fruit or a raw vegetable that's alkaline, the moment I cook it, it becomes
acidic.
I see.
It is the simpler way to define it. Of course, there are some exceptions. Like I just said, the lemon. Lemon is of course acidic. That is natural, but it is acidic. pH is always less than 5, 4 like this. And our body pH is around 7, 7.4. That is the perfect one. So it is slightly alkaline. So body, if we take any food which is alkaline, towards alkaline side, that is always for a healthier body.
Now, more of the food habits, if one were to have higher energy levels on a daily basis, for instance, so what should be the cuisine combination like? What should be the amount of fruits that one should have, say, in the morning or afternoon or day? If you could shed light on that, how to improve your diet essentially so that you're more active, energetic, healthy as a whole, and you can take up yoga asanas, whatever is recommended.
When you do yoga, your digestion also improves. But even then, whenever you are having your food, you should keep your stomach empty, little empty. The Ayurveda also says that 1/4 or 1/3 of the stomach should be kept empty. So if you follow that rule, then it's good enough for you. Just don't fill up your stomach, because then the stomach cannot churn it properly, then food sits in the stomach for longer hours and draws more acid. So if you leave it half empty or 3/4 you full, then the problem will not be there. You will be energetic, more energetic. and no problem.
Munmun, I have to ask a guest one question. I'm just thinking about it myself. Ma'am, how do you look at these popular fads like intermittent dieting or people choosing to skip dinner altogether? Is that advisable?
For me, one should follow nature. Nature doesn't say this intermittent fasting. It is you.
So you're not in favor of fasting at all?
No, fasting you do automatically when you are not well, you're sick, then body doesn't want to digest any food and your hunger will go. So that is a sign enough that you should not have food. Otherwise, if you have some problems, then 24 hours once a week we recommend always. But otherwise, one should follow nature. Nature way what? You get up in the morning, you feel hungry, you eat. Earlier primitive man also, what did he do? Whenever he felt hungry, he ate. So
follow the sun is what you are saying. Follow the sun. Follow the sun. With
yes,
sunrise you
yes,
eat.
yes.
With sunset
and after sunset
conclude.
One should not have food. Or even if you are having, say, don't try to make it late. Take it as early as possible. That is the golden rule, that you eat during the day. Evening no food. And even if you are having food, it should be very light so that it is digested in no time. Otherwise, your body will be processing the food at night when it should repair your body, because it is during sleep that the body assesses its damages and its faults and repairs it. And if it is spending that energy in digesting your food, now where is the energy for healing? So you should.
Ms. Hota, is there a complementarity between yoga and other alternative forms of medicine, for instance Ayurveda? Do you see that there is a natural complementarity between the two, and would you recommend some Ayurvedic ways and means of life to somebody who comes to you for yoga, maybe food habits, maybe the body constitution that we were earlier talking about? So if you could tell us a little about that, again a more comprehensive approach that goes beyond yoga to life.
Yes, yoga and Ayurveda are very, very complementary. They both go together, because you as a food, that is or Ayurvedic principles, and so many other things we believe in the Ayurvedic principles, like even massage and the panchakarma that they do, that they all are very good. They take out the toxins from our system. We have in yoga satkarma, it is cleansing techniques, but they can't be done by everybody. But whereas panchakarma most people can do, and the toxins must be out of the system regularly. So once in a while, once a year or so, one should do panchakarma and get rid of all the stored toxins. Otherwise, if your body tissues are poisoned, how can they function well? And we are taking so much of toxins into our system. So even yoga cannot have its full effect if the body is toxic, the blood is toxic. So one has to remove them either by the yogic satkarma or by panchakarma or by fasting. Fasting is also necessary. Fasting is very, very necessary to purge the toxins. Yes.
Professor Yadav, now when we're talking about the Yoga Day, I have to ask you this. India has a Ministry of Ayush.
Yes.
Now for the benefit of viewers, Ayush is an acronym. It stands for Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha and Homeopathy. Now we've spoken about yoga, we've spoken about Ayurveda. Would you like to talk to our viewers about the other aspects or the the related systems of traditional schools of medicine, namely naturopathy and Siddha and Unani and homeopathy as well?
Yes, because the importance of all these are really too high. For example, this yoga and naturopathy, and that's why government has set up one center, that is Center for Research in Yoga and Naturopathy. And as you just said, the Ayush Ministry simply means the Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddhi and Homeopathy. All are important. Of course, as of now, the Ministry of Ayush has already established one of the important institute like All India Institute of Ayurveda, and there is Morarji Desai National Institute of Yoga. Unani and Siddhi is not up to that level as the yoga is doing, as the Ayurveda is doing, and of course all are different traditional ways of, you can say, medicine or the health and benefit.
Also, Dr. Yadav, how much do you see the youth interested in yoga these days, and how do you get more and more youth to take up yoga?
Yes, I think nowadays, since 2014, thanks to the government, that now it is being popularized, and more youth are coming and they are joining the yoga courses, they are trying to learn and they are trying to practice it. When I was a school kid, even I remember in class 6th, 7th, 8th, I used to do yoga. It was being taught to by the school teachers, and I used to do one of the best asanas was the Sarvanga asanas. For that I used to get the best asana student or awarded every time. So when I was a student, at that time I was learning yoga. So of course today more and more school kids, more and more youths, they are joining and they are learning yoga and they are practicing yoga.
Ms. Hota, under the national education policy, yoga has been made part of the school curriculum. How significant to your mind is that? Because you get more and more children to start yoga early, and then there would be health benefits and wellness benefits over the years.
Yoga for children.
Yeah, yoga for children.
Yoga for children is very important because their the tendencies, all the any negative characteristics, whatever they have not crystallized. So when you do yoga at that in the younger age, the body also becomes stronger and it will prevent all diseases, and the mind also becomes positive, and once the mind is positive, you attract everything positive into you. So life becomes better in every field, whether it is your success in your profession or anywhere. Everything positive happens to you when the mind becomes positive, and that is what the children, it's easy to do with children. Because once they do it, then everything, all their problems disappear and they become positive. Their intelligence level also goes up, their memory becomes better. So they will fare better in life. They should, all children should do. Earlier, I think in earlier days, it was mandatory to do Surya Namaskar and this one Gayatri mantra. They were taught when their thread ceremony may. So it was, everybody used to do that early Jamana, but now it is not gone. It is good that the children are now doing it. It is very, very important for the society.
We'll take this forward because there are also adolescents and adults who should take up yoga if they haven't already. So we'll discuss that in a bit, but before that, yoga transports us to a state where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. It is not surprising then that this practice transcends borders and is integrating itself into contemporary lifestyles. From corporate settings to the military, yoga has become an integral part of people's everyday lives. Nupur Praveen reports.
As the sun rises on yet another day, millions around the globe are embracing a practice that transcends boundaries and unites minds, bodies and soul, yoga.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, recently made a significant statement. He said that yoga is a zero investment method that requires no expenses for good health. The theme for this year's International Yoga Day is also along similar lines, yoga for self and society.
With the International Day of Yoga approaching on June 21st, the spotlight turns to how this ancient discipline is finding a significant role in modern lifestyles.
I've been doing yoga for several years now, and it's been really good for me. I feel really good taking an hour for myself in the morning and then enjoying the rest of the day. It keeps me fit, it keeps me focused, it keeps me, as we say in Hindi, shant.
I've been practicing yoga since 2013. So it's been long, 11 years. I had thyroid and other complexities, and now my parameters are all normal. I feel very energetic and happy the whole day, and I don't miss yoga. Every day I practice.
From office boardrooms to the battlefield, yoga's influence knows no bounds. And then there's laughter yoga, where joy becomes the asana, a state of physical and mental harmony. Infusing traditional yoga with the lightness of laughter, practitioners experience not only the physical benefits but also a profound sense of joy, connection, and an immense inner satisfaction.
Everybody knows that laughter is the best medicine, and if you laugh every day, it will reduce your stress, boost your immune system, and keep your mind positive. Science tells us that if you want to get the health benefits of laughter, you must laugh at least for 10 to 15 minutes. And this is the reason we created Laughter Yoga. Laughter Yoga is a form of exercise where anybody can laugh without jokes, humor and comedies.
As the world prepares to celebrate International Day of Yoga on 21st June, let's take a moment to celebrate India's priceless contribution to the world, a path of unity, well-being and inner harmony. With camera person Mohit, this is Nupur Praveen for DD India in New Delhi.
Yes, so that's more on the benefits of yoga as a whole. Well, Dr. Yadav, on the issue of improving immunity levels, we've seen the kind of havoc that COVID-19 pandemic has played, and we've seen how the various products that the Ayush Ministry came up with did play a role in preventing the disease. How important is yoga for immunity as a whole? And what are some of the yogas that you would recommend, any asanas particularly, to boost immunity?
Yes. As in one of your earlier presentation, you just said that yoga is basically mind-body medicine. So yoga influences our brain, yoga influences our physical body as well as emotional. So it influences physical, mental as well as emotional and social level. What we have observed, and that is well known by different research, that yoga can modify our immunity. And basically, if I can say in one word, that is basically psychoneuroimmunology. Means it influences our thoughts in our brain, our mental activities. Our immune system is, of course, it has different arms across the body. Here the brain, that influences our immune system in the best possible way. For example, everybody must have experienced when you have cold, common cold. Usually at that time, usually it happens when you are in more stress. Whenever you are in more stress, it may be physical, mental or whatever it is, usually you may have the common cold. And that happens because during stress, the immunity decreases. And it is now, everybody knows that yoga reduces stress. Means it influences our brain, it influences our stress at different levels from here tip to toe. And because it reduces the stress, the immunity is boosted or immunity is boosted. There is an inverse relationship between stress and immunity. And what we have observed that there are different, again, stress markers. For example, like IL-6, in many interleukins, one of the interleukins is IL-6, that is a stress marker, and usually stress and inflammation, these are hand in hand or associated. Some other markers like TNF-alpha, and then some body has some endorphins. Endorphins, you can say, is like anti-stress, or simply you can say there are many hormones in body which simply you can say happy hormones.
Right.
Okay. For example, the dopamine, the oxytocin, the serotonin, the endorphins. And what we have observed by different research, that this beta endorphin, to be very precise, it is increased by the yoga based interventions. And beta endorphin is a marker, you can say a type of, you can say happy hormone, you will feel more happy, more wellness, or simply you can say it is anti-stress.
Dr. Yadav, here I have to ask you something. I have been told that one should not combine two different schools of medicine, like Ayurveda with modern medicine, allopathy for that matter. Is that true? That suppose I'm diabetic or I have hypertension, if I'm on modern medicine, I should not combine that or supplement that with Ayurvedic medicine. Is that true?
Earlier it used to be said, yeah, of course. But nowadays I think this government also wants, and that's why the different new aims, there are almost 23, 24 aims across this country. Whatever the government is proposing new aims, usually the Ayush block is also being constructed and it is being operationalized whenever there are new aims is being set up. So what does it mean? That yeah, of course, the allopathic medicine as well as there should be some hand in hand, some interactions between the allopathy and the Ayush ministry and the Ayush system. And as we are already doing many research where the yoga is being included as you can say alternative or complementary or supplementary method in any of the diseases.
Do you also recommend or prescribe modern medicine in addition to the ancient Indian school of thought, that's Ayurveda?
Medicines I really don't have much knowledge about, but whenever any of the patients comes to me and they take some medicine, they are taking medicines, I tell them to continue with it, because when with yoga they will improve, the doctors will themselves withdraw the medicines. So I never say no to any.
So you
medicine.
don't prescribe any medicine at all, neither Ayurveda nor allopathic.
No,
you
no
only focus on the holistic well-being of the body.
Diet, food is the best medicine for me. So I recommend the food that is necessary for them. That's it.
Vijayalakshmi, if you could also demonstrate to us some asana for de-stressing, for quick de-stressing, for maybe in a minute or two, if there is any asana.
Like
you could also perform it looking into the
like
camera.
Instant coffee, is there anything called instant yoga? Which we can do while sitting in the office or at home?
Yes, there are, like if you are sitting all the time, then you are your spine gets pressed, from this, and as the gravity is pulling it down. So the vertebra, the discs come closer to each other and they put pressure on the nerves. So sooner or later one can develop back problem. So every now and then you should just stand up and do Tadasana. Tadasana is very easy and you can do standing anywhere. So that is one asana for office people. I always say do Tadasana. That is very important. And another asana, when you are having some back pain, then Makarasana, that also takes a very instant relief. Makarasana is just lying down and you put your hands like this. So that also is, that can be done any time, anywhere, one can do that. But Tadasana, yes, for the back problem, Tadasana is very good.
Any breathing exercise or yoga asana that you can demonstrate to the viewers looking into the camera, ma'am?
Yes.
I know you're not seated in the best form for a yoga asana, but maybe using your hands and your eyes, if you could.
Yes, I understand. What you can do is, it is called yogic breathing. Yogic breathing, because when you are tense, we don't breathe very well, and the carbon dioxide being a heavier gas, it settles on the lower part of the lungs, which is very bad, because carbon dioxide is poisonous and it is also acidic. So you remove it from time to time. There is a yogic breathing, we call it. What you do is you inhale, and first you fill up the lower part of your lungs, inhale more, fill up the middle part, inhale still more and fill up the upper part. And when you exhale, do in the reverse order, that is you first exhale from here, then deeply from your stomach. So that it is like wave breathing, and it removes all carbon dioxide, fills up your lungs with oxygen, so your body is oxygenated and you are energetic immediately. You feel more energetic, and it produces alpha waves. The yogic breathing, alpha waves. Alpha waves is produced only when you are relaxed, very relaxed, and that puts takes out the pressure from the heart and it relaxes your body. So it's a very simple trick for a very big benefit. Inhale, fill up your lower part of your lungs, then the mid portion, then the upper part, and exhale from the upper part, then middle, then lower. It's very good.
For the benefit of viewers watching this broadcast, what would you like to tell those viewers who say, like homeopathy, yoga is slow to manifest in your, the results of the activity manifest after some time, unlike say allopathy where the remedy is instant. So what would you like to tell people who say yoga is slow and it takes time to derive benefits out of yoga?
No. As I said, like even high blood pressure, if it becomes normal within 3 days, then that only shows how quickly it can work. Right. It works like magic. There's no problem. Yes.
As far as impact on various ailments is concerned, you've told us that you've seen people beat even cancer with this. Any of the new age problems that you've seen being treated through yoga or being prevented through yoga? For instance, when the pandemic happened, I'm sure we've seen the kind of chaos that was there around the whole world. So, during that time, did you recommend yoga to anyone, and did that help?
Yes, a pandemic, it was more, the stress was more harmful than, because everybody is so stressed, and stress means, as the doctor said, stress means immunity goes down like anything. Because I think in 5 minutes, 50,000 units of vitamin A gets depleted during stress. So, in half an hour of stress, you are deficient in the vitamin, and your immune system cannot function without that vitamin. So, it becomes almost crippled. And when you are stressed, obviously you are exposing yourself to all infections. And there are, in yoga, there are very simple tricks to de-stress your mind. One is meditation, of course, but that takes time, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes you have to do. Otherwise, you can do some this abdominal breathing, this one that I told you, the yogic breathing, that takes away the stress immediately. Then there is Om chanting. When you say O, the brain immediately generates alpha waves. So, when you say Ma, it becomes theta. So, such a simple thing, but it removes your stress instantaneously. So, there are many things in yoga that really
and to strengthen your lungs also, because to strengthen one's lungs.
Yes, no, so the breathing that I told you, I taught you, that strengthens your lungs, that strengthens your diaphragm, and even it massages your abdominal organs and make them stronger. So, it is a simple trick, but has a lot of benefits.
So, yoga is a combination of art and science, right?
It is science.
It is science.
It is science, yes.
Right.
Art, of course, you can say it, but more science than an art.
It's a scientific concept, not just, you know.
Yes, no. It's because those people had the intuitive knowledge who had devised yoga. I give you one simple example. When a person is lying down, the muscular tension is still 20%. Whereas the subject was made to do Bhujangasana, that is the cobra pose. One would think the tension would increase, but the tension became zero at the back. Whereas those people have said that these are the asana that will relax you. But how did they know? They didn't have any scientific gadgets to prove. They just knew it intuitively. So, their knowledge was absolute. So, they had devised all these things, and whatever they have said is coming true now, but it is being proved.
So, this is, Munmun, as they say, you know, this is distilled ancient Indian wisdom, right? Rooted in science.
Absolutely. Now, because of the scientific gadgets, we are discovering them, their worth. But whatever they had said, they are coming true now. Even Veda, whatever they had said, now scientific, NASA is now proving each thing and they are accepting. So, the people were amazing.
Tell us more about how yoga can lead one to mindfulness. Mindfulness.
Mindfulness is you are just you are being aware of everything that you are doing at present, but that way you are not accumulating any karma, no thoughts, you are not storing any thoughts, but that is very difficult. You can maintain it for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, more than that is not very easy, not possible.
Right, and there is a yoga for space initiative also that's happening today. All scientists and officials of ISRO will be performing yoga together. The team from the Gaganyaan project will also join this global campaign of the International Day by practicing yoga on the occasion. It's difficult to imagine astronauts, for instance, or aspiring astronauts or scientists doing yoga in a sense, because you know, we've like you said, this is very scientific, more scientific than anything else. So this is also in a way an interplay between modern science and yoga, would you say? How would, for instance, somebody who's traveling into space benefit from yoga?
Space, I think I really do not know, because I have not experimented anything. All these other things that I said, I have myself experimented and experienced both way. But about space, I really can't say much.
Would you like to weigh in on this?
Add here. You see, India is doing great job in the space, and Chandrayaan and all that is the best examples for that. And last year we were at ISRO, and it was discussed that, okay, can the yoga be done in space? One of the important differences in the space is because of the change of gravity. Here we can sit easily. In space there is zero gravity, or you can say microgravity. So it's really difficult to even sit. So then how you can do the yoga? But again, we are doing a lot of research, a lot of proposals that yes, it may be done, it can be done. The yoga can be done even in the space, in the absence of gravity, zero gravity, or simply you can say microgravity. It can be. And we are trying to do that, how it can be.
Great. So do stay on for some more time. Let's pull up some more news coming our way, Monmon. Yoga teachers in Japan, for instance, are hoping they can help the practice break into the mainstream. Now, they say yoga could help the busy working people of Tokyo recover from the stresses of city life, but less than 20% of the population regularly practices it. DD India's Chris Gilbert has more from Tokyo.
It's early on a Tuesday in the heart of the world's biggest metropolis, and Tarun is teaching his students nourishment. He uses yoga to help busy working people win the morning. If they practice regularly, he says yoga can help them win their week, their month, and eventually their whole lives.
If you practice yoga, you will get everything what you need from this life, and you will be the best of your life. I'm not saying to compare to your neighbors or compare to anyone. You will be your best.
Tarun says yoga loves him and has practiced since before he can remember. He wants to share that love in Japan, often appearing on TV to make it popular. But he says it's not yet broken through into the mainstream.
Yoga needs to get popular in Japan. The peak is not there yet. Not even 20% people are practicing yoga. So we at least need to go 30% of the Japanese population practicing regularly yoga.
There are historical reasons why yoga has struggled to take hold in Japan.
Many people here still remember the 1995 sarin gas attacks by the Om Shinrikyo group, which practiced yoga, and teachers say that led the public to be cautious about the pursuit for many years afterwards, until everything changed in the 2010s when yoga wear became fashionable.
That's when apparel brand Lululemon became popular and activewear hit the streets. Tom Wada teaches yoga in Omotesando, Tokyo's fashion hub. He says fashion has helped rehabilitate yoga's image, but it's come with a catch.
The way it's advertised here, if you see an advertisement for yoga studios, it's usually with beautiful female yoga teachers or models, and that's how people see yoga now. I have had people say that, oh, but yoga is for women, right? And so males don't practice.
He says the meditative aspect of yoga could help all Japanese people recover from long work days and stressful city life.
And meditation is giving back to yourself that time, that you are usually giving away to others, like you're giving importance to, let's say, Instagram, or to the company, or to whatever rules that Japan might oppose on you.
Tarun also says he wants his studio to liberate Japanese people from social expectations.
In Japan, most of the time, to kids, they teach dame first, what not to do. I try to teach them what to do.
Hoping to spread his love for yoga and stretch the practice to a wider population. Chris Gilbert in Tokyo, reporting for DD India.
So there is scope to make yoga even more popular in countries like Japan. And on that note, we'll thank Ms. Vijayalakshmi Hota, Yogacharya, for joining us. It was such an enlightening session with you here, with your personal experiences. And I'm sure the audience has gained a lot of knowledge and understanding of yoga and the holistic approach that is needed to be accompanied with yoga for overall health and wellness. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
But we'll request Dr. Yadav to continue to stay with us. This is the 10th International Day of Yoga and you're watching a special broadcast on this occasion. We are counting down to Prime Minister Narendra Modi leading the 10th International Yoga Day celebrations in Srinagar. We'll get you those live visuals as and when they start coming in. For now, we'll take a breather. We'll be back with lots more. Stay tuned. Tea is acidic.